It's dark. Distant gunfire pops softly, then a muffled boom rolls through the air. Two fighter jets scream low overhead, engines tearing the sky apart. Ozzy Osbourne's Paranoid suddenly blasts at full volume across the base. Two Mark II combat drones sprint past, shouting, "Incoming!" Spent shell casings litter the mud. A heavy combat mech slumps against a bunker, then sits up with whining joints. The rock music thumps harder as the mech grabs its massive 120mm pump-action rifle and stands tall. Another Mark II bursts from the bunker yelling, "Go, go, go!" The mech racks the slide with a loud clack-clack, chambers around, and lumbers toward the battlements. Heavy footsteps shake the ground. At the top of the flagpole, the ISAF flag snaps in the wind. Old American stripes with a silver eagle head on a blue canton, golden beak shining, beret cocked like it's daring the sky. The mech takes aim. Boom! Everything snaps into focus. In the next bunker, a gray wolf man in a tiger stripe boonie hat grips an M2.50 caliber, cigar glowing in the wind. He's roaring at the top of his lungs. "Come on, you bug fucks. That all you got? I'll kill every last one of you. Ha 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 ha." 4-10. Warthogs dive from above their GAU-8s, ripping the jungle to pieces in unison. The Wolfman just keeps howling as the mech fires again. Boom! The massive caisson tumbles to the ground with a heavy thud. Then everything fades to black. ISAF Episode 1. Ass End of the Galaxy. The shuttle ramp clangs down inside the tin can's dimly lit hangar bay. Jake Harper stands at attention in nothing but a thin gray UTF flight suit. Dog tag's the only thing they let him keep. The sharp-featured UTF officer doesn't even look up from her datapad. She simply raises one finger and points toward the exit. Two massive, power-armored Marines step out of the shadows. One grabs Jake's left arm, the other his right, and they drag him like a side of beef into a cramped locker room that smells of old sweat and ozone. They shove a folded set of olive drab fatigues and a combat vest into his chest. The moment he's changed, they grab him by the collar and march him straight to a row of drop pods. One Marine pops a hatch. The other shoves Jake inside so hard his shoulder slams against the acceleration couch. An M4 carbine is thrust into his hands. "Good luck down there, meatbag. Have fun." The Marine flips him off, steps back, and slams the hatch shut like a coffin lid. Red emergency lights strobe on, a synthetic voice cuts in. "Attention, replacement, atmospheric interface in 30 seconds. Recommend bracing for high G deceleration and possible enemy small arms fire. Welcome to ISAF. Try not to die on your first day." The pod lurches violently. Jake's stomach slams into his throat as the entire thing shakes hard enough to rattle his teeth. All he can hear is the roar of the atmosphere outside the drop pod. Through the tiny viewport, he sees streaks of green energy, bolts whipping past, some way too close. A rough male voice crackles over the comms. "Ground control. To meet can 47. You're coming in hot over the river delta. Bugs are throwing another welcoming party. Try to land in one piece, kid." The retros fire with a deafening sound. The pod slams into shallow water with a bone-rattling crash. The hatch blows open, and Jake tumbles face first into knee-deep swamp. He comes up coughing, M4 still strapped to his chest, surrounded by the thick smell of rotten vegetation and sulfur. Before he can even get his bearings, a massive 7-foot wolfman in tiger-striped camo bursts through the mangrove roots beside him. cigar clenched between his fangs, M240 machine gun held like a toy. He locks glowing amber eyes on Jake and grins. Well, shit, they sent us fresh meat. On your feet, Boot. We got about 30 seconds before the next wave hits this landing zone. Jake scrambles upright, water pouring off his uniform. Sergeant, Save the boot camp bullshit, kid. Name's Sergeant Karg. That's all you need to know right now. Karg jerks a thumb over his shoulder. Grab your balls and follow me. Welcome to the ass end of the galaxy. Karg doesn't wait. He turns and starts wading through the swamp like he owns it. M240 already up and ready. Jake takes one shaky step after him, then freezes. A single mantis soldier steps out of the mist, 2.5 meters of sleek bladed death. Its long blade arms glint in the filtered sunlight as its compound eyes fixed directly on Jake. For one frozen second, the world goes perfectly still. Then the jungle explodes with gunfire. Karg roars like an actual wolf, the M240 thundering in his paws as he lights up the mantis. Tracers streak through the air. The mantis moves like liquid, dodging and weaving, blades flashing as it closes the distance impossibly fast. Jake snaps out of his shock, brings his M4 up, and starts firing on pure muscle memory. The carbine bucks against his shoulder, 5.56 rounds stitching across the creature's armored carapace. The mantis staggers. Karg doesn't let up, keeps pouring fire until the thing finally drops into the swamp with a splash. Silence falls for half a second. Karg spits his cigar into the water and fishes out a fresh one from his vest. He lights it with a battered Zippo, takes a long drag, and looks Jake up and down. Not bad for fresh meat. Most new guys freeze and get turned into kibble on their first contact. He grins, showing way too many teeth. You might live through the week. Jake's hands are still shaking. What the hell is this place? Karg laughs, a deep rumbling sound that seems to shake the trees. This is where the Federation sends everyone they want to forget about. And right now, we're all that's standing between those bugs and the rest of the goddamn Milky Way. He glances back, amber eyes gleaming with something between amusement and pride. Welcome to the Independent State Armed Forces. Hope you like rock and roll. Somewhere deeper in the swamp, the unmistakable opening riff of AC/DC's Shoot to Thrill suddenly blasts from a speaker farther down in the jungle. Jake stares after the sergeant, heart still hammering as the music swells around them. A few moments later, 2 more figures emerge from the mist ahead. One is a tall elf in a camouflage netting poncho, PSG-1 sniper rifle resting easily in her gloved hands. The other is a Mark II combat drone with Steve crudely stenciled across his chest plate in bright orange paint. Steve is tapping his metal foot in the mud and lightly banging his head to the beat, still pouring out of his own speakers. He immediately zeroes in on Jake and starts waving both arms like an excited golden retriever. New guy, fresh meat has arrived. Look at him, Larell. He's still got that shiny, I just got dishonorably discharged smell. Lyriel Voss gives Steve a tired sideways glance. Try not to scare him off in the first 5 minutes, Steve. Too late. He already met Karg. The bar is in hell. Steve skids to a stop in front of Jake and tilts his head. His optical sensors glow a friendly cyan. Hi, I'm Steve. I'm the funny one. You're Jake, right? The guy who punched a colonel in the face on camera? Respect. Jake blinks. How do you already know that? We get a file, Lirael says calmly, scanning the tree line. Yours was entertaining. Karg barks a laugh. Kid's got balls. I like him already. Before Jake can respond, Steve suddenly stops, head tilting like a confused dog. Boss, I think the bugs are throwing us a second welcome party. Dozens of green flashes light up the swamp as another wave of ant troopers charge through the water, screaming their weird, chittering war cry. The ants come in like they have a plan, rifles up, trying to fan out through the mangroves. But the moment they start shooting, it all falls apart. Green energy bolts fly everywhere except at the squad. Some shots go high into the canopy. Some splash into the water 10 meters away. Some just stitch wildly into the trees. One ant trips over a vine and face plants into the mud. Another one actually manages to shoot the ant next to him in the leg. Karg roars with laughter. Look at these idiots! Steve doesn't even aim. He just raises his rifle and starts picking them off while still humming along to the music. Rude! We were having a moment! Lirael stays perfectly still, her PSG-1 barking quietly. Every suppressed shot drops an ant with surgical precision. Jake brings his M4 up and fires in controlled bursts. The recoil feels raw. The noise feels real. Nothing like the sleek Gauss rifle he used back in the United Terran Federation. The fight's over in less than a minute. The last ant stumbles, fires 3 wild shots into the sky, then topples backward into the water. Steve gives Jake a double thumbs up. Not bad, new boss. You're officially my favorite organic. Karg slings his M240 and grins around his fresh cigar. LZ is 200 meters that way. Let's move before these idiots bring their friends. The 4 of them push through the swamp together. Steve keeps the music playing from his speakers, still lightly banging his head as he walks. Every few steps he bumps Jake's shoulder with a metal fist and says, You're doing great, new boss, like Jake's his new favorite toy. Lirael moves like a ghost beside them, never saying much, but always watching. Karg keeps glancing back at Jake with that same wolfish grin, clearly enjoying how shell-shocked the new guy still looks. Halfway to the landing zone, Steve suddenly stops dead. Hey, does anyone else smell acid and bad decisions? Before anyone can answer, the jungle ahead lights up with fresh gunfire. Another squad of ants comes stumbling out of the trees, several mantises leading them this time, moving fast, blades flashing. Karg roars and brings the M240 back up. Lirael drops to one knee, PSG-1 already tracking. Steve racks his rifle with a loud click and winks at Jake. Stick close, new boss. I got your back. The fight turns ugly fast. Mantises close the distance like liquid death, while the ants pour wild green fire everywhere except at the squad. Jake's heart hammers in his teeth as he fires controlled bursts. Karg's laughing and roaring insults, Lirael's dropping targets with cold precision, and Steve's still humming along to the music like it's a Saturday afternoon. Then the sky rips open. A CDC's Highway to Hell suddenly blasts at full volume over the swamp. The Mi-24 Hind D screams in low over the mangroves, twin rotors hammering the air like war drums. The 30mm cannon under its nose lights up. Bert! And the lead mantis simply vanishes in a spray of green mist. Rockets ripple off the pods, turning the entire bug wave into fire and shrapnel. The hind flares hard over the clearing, sending up a massive wall of spray, music still roaring. The side door yanks open. An orange-furred Mian leans out, waving one hand. "Move your damn asses! I ain't hovering here all day." As they wade closer, Jake's eyes flick up to the cockpit. Two Mark II drones are sitting in the tandem seats, one in front, one behind. The rear drone notices him looking, turns its flat visor toward Jake, and gives him a cheerful double thumbs up before turning back to the controls. Jake blinks hard. "Drones are flying this thing?" Karg claps him on the back, hard enough to stagger him, and starts wading toward the helicopter. "Come on, kid. Time to see what home looks like." The four of them pile into the cramped troop bay. The moment everyone is strapped in, the hind noses forward and climbs, accelerating low over the mangrove swamp. The hind climbs steadily, swinging out over the vast river delta. Jake presses his face against the small window, watching the endless green swamp fall away beneath him. It seems to stretch forever in every direction. Karg notices and lets out a low chuckle. First time seeing how big this rock really is? Jake nods, still staring. "I thought we were just dropping into some jungle. This planet is massive." "Welcome to the ass end of the galaxy, kid," Karg says, leaning back in his seat. 4 times the diameter of Earth, but still only 1G. One giant supercontinent with 2 enormous inland oceans carved into it. We just left the southern edge, River Delta territory. GHQ sits dead center on Alpha Island, way up north in the ISAF ocean. That's a long haul, even for a hind. Steve's head suddenly pops up between them, still blasting music at a lower volume. A few hours at cruising speed. I checked. Lyrael sits quietly across from Jake, poncho folded neatly beside her, PSG-1 resting across her lap. She doesn't say anything, but her green eyes flick to Jake every few seconds, studying him. Jake finally tears his gaze away from the window and looks at the Wolfman. "So, what the hell is this place, really? They stripped me of my armor and Gauss rifle, threw me in a pod, and dropped me into a swamp with no briefing. What is ISAF?" Karg grins, the kind of grin that says he's been waiting for that question. "Simple. We're the Federation's trash pile. Every soldier they don't want, every piece of equipment they consider obsolete, every troublemaker they'd rather forget about. They dump it all here. Dishonorably discharged, sent here. Too aggressive, sent here. Too old, too weird, too good at asking questions, sent here." He gestures out the window at the endless green sliding past. The hive mind's been throwing everything it's got at this one planet for decades. Millions of bugs, constant waves. The Federation doesn't want to waste their shiny new plasma toys and Mark V armor on a meat grinder, so they send us. We hold the line with 21st and 22nd century gear. Old tanks, old guns, old everything, and somehow we hold the line. Jake looks down at the battered M4 in his hands. "With this?" "With that," Karg says proudly. "With .50 cals and napalm, with the 10s that still go brrrr-ty, with Abrams tanks that haven't been built in 200 years. Bugs have never seen anything like it. They expect plasma and energy shields. They don't expect a 120mm cannon and rock and roll." Steve leans in close to Jake, optics glowing. And the best part, most of the vehicles don't even need pilots anymore. Mark II flight chips. That's why those 2 up front are flying this hind. We're actually pretty good at it when we don't get distracted. As if on cue, one of the drones in the cockpit turns around, gives Steve a thumbs up, then goes back to flying. Jake shakes his head, laughing despite himself. This is insane. Lyriel finally speaks, voice soft but clear. You'll get used to it, or you won't. Either way, you're here now. The Hind continues its long flight across the continent, the jungle slowly giving way to open plains and distant mountain ranges. Jake stares out at the staggering scale of the planet, trying to wrap his head around everything he's just been told. Karg watches him for a moment, then speaks again, quieter this time. Most new guys ask the same question you're thinking right now. Jake turns to him. Which is? Karg's amber eyes glint with dark amusement. How the hell are we supposed to win a war with fucking museum pieces? Before Jake can answer, the Hind banks hard to the right. The endless green finally ends at a rocky coastline, and suddenly they're flying over open water, the ISAF ocean, cold, gray, and stormy. That's when the music switches. The Hind's external speakers play louder as AC/DC's Heat Seeker blasts out over the ocean like a war cry. The heavy guitar riff punches through the rotor noise, raw and perfect. Karg throws his head back and laughs. There it is. Steve immediately starts banging his helmet against the bulkhead in time with the beat. Even Lyriel allows herself the tiniest smirk, her foot tapping once against the deck. Jake can't help it. He laughs too. The absurdity of it all finally hits him. Here he is flying over an alien ocean in a 200-year-old Russian gunship, listening to AC/DC at full volume, surrounded by a wolfman, a silent elf, and a combat drone who has already adopted him as its favorite organic. The Hind tears across the open water, music screaming into the sky, heading straight for the distant silhouette of Alpha Island on the horizon. As they draw closer, the island rises out of the gray sea like a sleeping giant. A massive dormant volcano dominates the center, its wide caldera mouth open to the sky. Even from miles away, Jake can see the scale. This isn't just a base, it's a fortress carved into the heart of a mountain. The Hind flares hard as it approaches the caldera rim, rotors thumping as it descends into the massive open throat. The moment they drop below the rim, the world changes. The inside of the volcano is alive. Floodlights cut through the haze. Full circular levels are carved into the black rock walls, stacked one above another, each extending deep into the volcanic rock. Catwalks, lifts, and gantries crisscross the open shaft between them. Cranes swing heavy loads of tanks and ammunition between bays. Rows upon rows of armor stretch out below. Abrams, Leopards, T-90S, and Merkavas parked side by side in clashing camouflage patterns, their barrels polished and ready. Mechs the size of small buildings stand in open bays, Greys and Mians swarming over them like ants, sparks flying as they work on 120mm cannons and rotary guns. Mark II drones march in perfect formation across the floor, assault rifles and heavy machine guns racked on their backs. Some are painting fresh camo on each other. Others are fist bumping after finishing some task. Rock music thumps from speakers bolted high on the walls. Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones echoing through the entire caldera. The Hind settles onto a marked landing pad near the center. The side door slides open. Karg is the first one out, stretching his massive frame. Welcome to Alpha Crater, kid, or as everyone calls it, GHQ. Jake steps out onto the scorched stone, eyes wide. The sheer volume of obsolete war machines surrounding him is overwhelming. This isn't a military base, it's a junkyard that decided to fight a war and is somehow winning. High above them, on a catwalk 20 meters up, a lone figure stands motionless, black and charcoal night camo, a black cloth mask covering everything from the nose down, a black beret with the ISAF Silver Eagle emblem, the commander. He doesn't wave, he doesn't speak. He simply watches them. Jake feels those unseen eyes measuring him, counting every breath, every flaw, every bullet he has left. After a long moment, the commander gives the smallest, almost imperceptible nod, then turns and vanishes into the shadows. Karg snorts smoke from his cigar. That's his version of "Welcome to the team." Means you're not dead yet. Lucky you. Jake exhales slowly, still staring up at the empty catwalk. Zek is waiting for them at the bottom of the ramp. Short gray alien stands with a cigarette dangling from his lips, mech harness slung loose over one shoulder. His large black eyes reflect the floodlights like wet coal. He looks Jake up and down and smirks. Private Federation. Still got that shiny, I just punched a colonel glow. Adorable. Jake stiffens. It's Jake. Zek exhales through his nostrils, almost a laugh. Jake. Right. New boy. He jerks a thumb at the 6-meter mech behind him. It's 30mm GAU-8 hanging like a promise of violence. Heard you shot straight in the swamp. Karg says you're not total garbage. Jake glances at the mech, then back at Zek. You pilot that? Yeah, and I don't babysit. But hey, if you ever get bored of running around like a grunt, I'll let you watch me burp bugs from the driver's seat. No lessons, just don't puke. Zek flicks his cigarette away, sparks skittering across the stone floor. Stick to your M4, kid. Mechs are for when you want to feel like a god. Or dead. Jake gives a half smile, half nerves. Zek turns, climbs up into his mech, and the hatch seals with a hiss. The cannon spins once with a low growl, then falls silent. Jake walks past the endless rows of tanks, boots echoing on the stone, past some Mayans laughing over belt-fed heavy guns, past a Slithari, coiling their tail around a barrel, while orange eyes watch him with mild curiosity. He finally stops at the edge of the caldera, leaning on the railing. The sky above is bruised purple, stars sharp and clear with no moon to soften them. Somewhere out there, the hive mind and its bugs are waiting. Down here, the air smells of oil, cordite, and hot metal. Rock music rolls through the walls. Cigarette smoke curls through the air. Misfits move with purpose. Jake leans over the guardrail, a tired, wicked smile forming on his face. Well, he mutters to himself, half laughing, this is a nice shit show.
just steel and thunder.